63 months. That's 5.25 years on his.
I could have been we got so much our kids to live for. I was being selfish.
Imagine fumbling the baddest woman in hip-hop all on your own, then having to sit back and watch her glow up with an NFL star right in front of you. And just when you think it can't get crazier, a man fresh out of federal prison slides into her comments talking about how much he loves her. Not just anybody either. Pooh Shiesty, a dude who was literally behind bars just months ago, now out here shooting his shot at your ex-wife like it's nothing. And somehow, Offset is still reacting, still pressed, still caught up over someone he hasn't been with in years. Real talk, this whole situation got him looking bad. He admitted he cheated, said he was selfish.
Her way more. You know what I mean? I made bad decisions as a man, like stepping out, like, gotta take that on the chin. Like, that's why when she left, I had to take that on the chin. Cause like, I could have been we got so much our kids to live for. I was being selfish.
This situation is messy, loud, and impossible to ignore. Well, let's get into it. Before we really break this down, let's be honest for a second. This isn't just some funny internet moment. There are layers on top of layers here. You've got Offset, still legally married to Cardi B, caught in one of the messiest celebrity divorces hip-hop has seen in years. And then you've got Pooh Shiesty, who just did close to 3 years on serious charges, stepping back into the world and almost instantly jumping into Cardi's comments like he has zero hesitation. And here's where it gets crazy. Offset actually responded publicly. That alone tells you exactly where his head is at right now. But it doesn't stop there. Shy wasn't moving quiet either. He kept making his presence known again and again, fully aware Offset could see everything. And all of this is happening while Cardi is clearly moving on with her life, focused on her own lane. But Offset just couldn't let it go. He couldn't ignore it, couldn't stay silent. So we've got to rewind, because this didn't just start when Shy got out. This goes way back, and it only gets more intense from here.
I apologize to you, Cardi. You know I embarrassed you. I made you look crazy, doing things I ain't had no business. I was partaking in activity that I shouldn't have been taking in. And I apologize, you know what I'm saying, breaking your heart, breaking our promise, breaking God's promise, and being a selfish, messed up husband, you know what I'm saying?
The first time Pooh Shiesty made it clear how he felt about Cardi B, he was still locked up. Let that sink in. It's 2024. Cardi files for divorce from Offset in July after 7 years of marriage, 3 kids, and non-stop cheating drama hanging over everything. Naturally, she goes live on Instagram, talking to fans, giving life updates, mentioning she's looking for a new place in New York, just regular, everyday stuff. But while all that is happening, someone running Shy's social media, because remember he's still locked up at the time, starts making things real interesting. A comment pops up under her live saying, "I'm 5 minutes away, baby. Open the door." Now come on. This man is literally behind bars. He's not 5 minutes from anything. The only thing close to him is a guard and a concrete wall. But whoever was controlling his account made sure Cardi saw that message loud and clear. And you already know Offset saw it too. No way he missed that. And that was just the beginning of everything heating up. Fast forward to October 6th, 2025. Shy walks out after doing close to 3 years and getting an early release. Less than 24 hours after being free, he grabs his phone, logs into Instagram, and heads straight to Cardi B's page like he had a plan.
To 63 months. That's 5.25 years on his federal felony for conspiracy to commit a violent crime or a drug offense using a firearm. He is already served.
She had just posted a teaser for a new track. And Shy, fresh out, still adjusting to the outside world, doesn't even pause to settle in. He jumps right in and drops 2 simple words, "I love you." That comment instantly takes off. Over 10,000 likes, hundreds of replies, and the internet goes crazy because everybody knew exactly what that meant. This man stepped out with his priorities clear. Music? That can wait. Friends? That can wait. He saw Cardi's post and made his move immediately. But here's where it gets even deeper. This wasn't just a one-and-done comment. He kept popping up again and again. It turned into a pattern, a real push that had people watching closely. And to really understand why Shy felt bold enough to go after someone like Cardi B, you've got to look at what was building behind the scenes. You've got to understand what his comeback looked like, because this man did not come home average, he came back upgraded. The streets were already talking before he even touched down. His name stayed hot for 3 straight years while he was locked up because the music never stopped. Tracks like Back in Blood were still hitting. His catalog was still running through clubs and people never forgot about Pooh Shiesty. The second he stepped out, the reaction was instant. Social media lit up overnight. Women flooded his comments. His look had everybody talking, and his whole energy felt refreshed. The Memphis rapper who went in one way came out looking like a completely new version of himself. Cleaner image, sharper presence, everything leveled up. So from his perspective, think about it. He's free. He's got momentum and attention coming from everywhere. The internet is celebrating him. People are tuned in, and he's moving with confidence. So, naturally, why wouldn't he shoot his shot at one of the biggest names out there? From where he's standing, he feels like he's winning. No hesitation, no second guessing. What's the worst that could happen? She ignores him, which, spoiler alert, is exactly what happened. At the same time, Cardi B hasn't acknowledged Pooh Shiesty even once. Not a like, not a reply, not even a hint online. Nothing. She's out here focused on her own life, expecting a child with Stefan Diggs, working on her album Am I the Drama, handling legal wins and moving forward. Meanwhile, Shy is in her comments, bringing big energy like he didn't just spend years away from the spotlight. And Cardi's silence, that speaks loud. She's clearly on a different path, not entertaining any of it. She's got a whole new situation, a whole new focus, and Shy is putting in effort for someone who isn't even responding. He's trying, no doubt, but the attention isn't coming back his way. But you know who did notice? Offset. And this is where things get serious. Offset has been emotional about Cardi in one of the most public ways possible. And to be fair, at least he's been honest about it. But his actions, they've been speaking volumes. This is the same man who, when Cardi first filed for divorce back in 2020, went on Instagram and posted a full emotional apology video. He looked straight into the camera and said, "I want to apologize to you, Cardi. I embarrassed you. I made you go crazy. I was a selfish, messed up husband." And it didn't stop there. That moment didn't just live online, it made its way onto his album. He turned those emotions into music, into content, into something the whole world could see. And even after all that, he still couldn't keep the relationship together. He openly admitted he should have respected her way more. He made bad decisions as a man, even owning up to stepping outside the relationship. He said when she left, he had to accept it and deal with it. He called himself selfish. No excuses, no hiding. And this wasn't said privately. He said it on a podcast with millions of listeners tuned in. But even with all that honesty, even after taking that public loss, the situation didn't just disappear. He's still tied up in legal issues with her, still going back and forth over money. Reports say he turned down a $10 million settlement and is asking for half, claiming he helped build her brand. So, on one side, he's apologizing for how he handled the relationship. On the other, he's making major financial claims. That contrast has people talking because it doesn't fully add up. The truth is, Offset doesn't seem completely over Cardi B. Maybe he never will be. And the moment Pooh Shiesty stepped back into the spotlight and started showing interest publicly, those emotions came rushing back. So, when Shy dropped that "I love you" comment and it pulled over 10,000 likes, Offset reacted. Not loud, not dramatic, but definitely noticeable. He posted a string of laughing emojis. That's it. No words, no tagging, not even a direct message. Now here's where things start shifting even more, because those laughing emojis weren't just random. It was a signal. Offset was watching, paying attention, and letting it be known without saying too much. And the internet picked up on it instantly. People started breaking it down, screenshotting everything, reposting it like it was some toted message. Some said it was brushing it off, acting unbothered. Others said it was pure sarcasm, like he was laughing through something that clearly hit a nerve. Meanwhile, Pooh Shiesty didn't slow down at all. If anything, the attention made him go harder. More comments, more visibility, more people tuning in to see what he'd do next. It turned into one of those situations where every small move started feeling huge, and Cardi still stayed silent through it all. No reaction, no acknowledgement, just focused and moving how she wants. That silence hit louder than any response could, because now both sides are making noise while she's saying nothing. That's what really makes this situation stand out. You've got one side throwing subtle shots, another side applying pressure out in the open, and the person in the middle just living life like none of it matters. Those emojis weren't saying, "This is funny." They were really saying, "I see you. I'm watching." That's the energy people picked up on immediately. Because let's be real, someone who's truly unbothered doesn't react at all, and someone who's fully moved on isn't watching their ex's comments that closely. But Offset saw it, and he reacted. And once that happened, the internet ran with it. Screenshots, reposts, debates, everybody had something to say about what those emojis really meant. Now this is where things get even deeper. People started asking a serious question. Does Offset actually want tension with Pooh Shiesty over this situation? Because these aren't just random guys online. These are two men with strong reputations who both know exactly how the other moves. So for anyone who doesn't fully know who Pooh Shiesty is, let's break it down clearly. Dismissing him as just another rapper shooting his shot at Cardi B would be a huge mistake. Pooh Shiesty, born Lantrell Donnell Williams Jr., comes out of Memphis, Tennessee, a city known for producing tough, resilient figures. His rise was fast, his music hit heavy, and his image was built on authenticity. People tapped in because his style felt raw and direct. His name stayed active even while he was locked up, which says a lot about his impact. Back in 2020, Pooh Shiesty was linked to a serious incident at a hotel in Florida where someone was injured. That situation quickly turned into something much bigger than expected. It didn't stay local, it escalated into a federal case involving firearms and other serious charges. He ended up pleading guilty and sentenced to 63 months, serving close to 3 years before getting out early. So this isn't someone with a light past or small issues behind him. This is someone who's faced serious legal consequences and handled real-life situations way beyond music. And that's exactly why Offset's laughing emoji reaction felt so loaded. Because while Offset has the fame, the success, and the spotlight, people are quick to point out that he and Shy come from very different paths. And in hip-hop culture, those differences don't go unnoticed. They actually carry weight. Now here's the part people keep hinting at but not saying out loud. This situation is clearly moving past simple social media jokes. You've got Offset still legally tied to Cardi, still emotionally connected, and still dealing with everything that comes with that. At the same time, he's watching someone like Pooh Shiesty openly show interest in his estranged wife with zero hesitation. And it doesn't stop there. Even while Cardi is publicly celebrating her new relationship and sharing major life moments, Shy is still showing up in the comments. He really saw a post celebrating another man and still couldn't stop himself from commenting. That's the part that had people talking. In a normal situation, that kind of move might come off as awkward persistence. But Pooh Shiesty isn't moving like the average person. His whole image is built on being fearless and direct. He doesn't operate like someone worried about how things might play out. He sees an opening, he goes for it. No second thoughts. That mindset changes how people read every move he makes. And that's exactly why Offset has to be careful with how he plays this. Dropping laughing emojis is one thing, light, subtle. But taking it further, that becomes a completely different situation. Because at the end of the day, this whole thing is turning into a real-life lesson people are watching online in real time. Offset had a relationship that meant something. Cardi was committed. They built a family and shared a history most people don't get. There were multiple chances to fix things, to move smarter, to protect what they had. But the choices didn't match that. And now everything is playing out in front of the world. Now he's watching her step into a new chapter, watching her grow, stay active in her career, handle legal matters and move forward confidently. Watching her build a new connection with a high-profile athlete and continue living her life. That kind of situation hits different, and no amount of laughing emojis can really cover that up. The fact that Offset is still not fully past this, still dealing with the divorce, still reacting to anything tied to Cardi, that tells you everything. People love to say time heals everything, but that only works if you actually move on. And right now, Offset hasn't fully let go. For all the confidence and status he carries, this situation has shown a completely different side of him. And then you've got Pooh Shiesty in the mix. Here's what really stands out. He's not making these moves just to get a reaction out of Offset. From how it looks, he's genuinely interested in Cardi, or at least confident enough to show it publicly. And he moves in a way where he's not really thinking about how it affects anyone else. That's not even criticism, that's just how he operates. Where he's from, the mindset is simple. If you want something, you go for it and deal with whatever comes after. But what makes this situation feel unpredictable is this. Shy has shown before that when things get intense, he doesn't back off easily. He leans into it instead of slowing down. Meanwhile, Offset is in a completely different position. He's emotional. He's still processing everything, but he can't step into this situation the same way, especially when Cardi has already made it clear she's moving forward. So what does he do? He keeps it indirect. Emojis, subtle reactions, quiet moments online. And then he focuses on the one place where he still has control, the legal side, because that's where he can actually stand firm. At this point, Cardi has clearly moved on. Shy is still making his interest known, and Offset is left watching everything play out from a distance through his phone. That's the reality. What people should take from all this is simple. In hip-hop, timing, awareness, and how you handle relationships matter a lot. Offset had multiple chances with Cardi, not just once, but several times, and each time his own decisions closed those doors. Now someone else is stepping in, making his presence known, and there's nothing Offset can really do to change that. He can only watch it unfold in real time. Shy came back focused and direct. He didn't hesitate, didn't move quietly, and didn't care who was watching. He stayed consistent and made sure people saw it. Cardi, on the other hand, moved differently. No replies, no engagement, no feeding into the noise. She just kept pushing forward and living life on her own terms. And then there's Offset. His situation turns into a lesson people are watching closely. Feeling a way about someone is normal. That part is human. But when it plays out publicly and keeps repeating, it starts to change how people see it. And this is where the story really leaves people thinking. Because eventually, everything slows down. But the impact? That sticks. Right now, Shy is moving loud, confident, and consistent. Offset is still tied to it emotionally and legally. And Cardi, she's already in a completely different chapter, not looking back at all. But situations like this don't just disappear overnight. The internet might move on to the next topic, but the people involved still have to live through what played out in front of millions. And here's what makes it hit harder. This didn't have to go this way. Different choices at different moments could have changed everything. But once those moments pass, there's no rewind. Now it's all about what happens next. Does Offset finally close that chapter for real and stop reacting altogether? Does Shy keep applying that same pressure, or does he eventually fall back? And most importantly, does Cardi ever break her silence, or does she keep letting her actions speak for her? Because one thing is clear, every move from here on out will be watched, analyzed, and talked about. And when you're dealing with personalities this big, even the smallest move can turn into the next major headline. And what happens if Cardi actually responds one day? Because knowing Shy, even a single word from her could take things to a whole new level instantly. And knowing Offset, that kind of moment might have him reacting in real time for everyone to see. So now it really comes down to this. What do you think about the whole situation? Is Offset justified in how he feels, or is it time for him to fully move on? And what about Shy? Should he ease up, or is he just being bold and going after what he wants? Drop your thoughts in the comments below because this one has people split. And if you want more breakdowns on what's really going on behind hip-hop's biggest moments, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. So you don't miss anything, check out the video on screen right now.